Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to General Hospital spoilers, Drew Cain may have a prison promise for Nina Reeves. So let's talk about the 4 vindictive words he might say to her in the future. Drew is still unsure of what happened the night he received a ketamine dose. Drew knows Portia Robinson was involved in the drugging operation, but he doesn't have the complete picture yet. Brad Cooper snitched on Portia, but he was evidently unaware of Nina's involvement. However, Nina will not be able to keep her role in all of the Jacinda drama hidden indefinitely. Nina would eventually be revealed as Portia's accomplice. Even if Portia maintains quiet to protect Nina, there will undoubtedly be a method for Drew to uncover the entire tale. What happens when Drew realizes Nina was the one who came up with this concept and attempted to ruin his relationship with Willow Corinthos? It didn't work, but Drew ended up at the center of a very public scandal. Drew has already sworn to bring down the perpetrator, so Nina will have to pay the consequences for her conduct. You can be certain that Drew will want Nina jailed and eventually imprisoned for this. That's especially true given Nina was the SEC informant that led to Drew's own prison sentence. Drew will now have the opportunity to repay the favor if he can establish Nina was responsible for the drugging scheme and the main attempt to undermine him. According to GH spoilers, Drew's prison promise may be fulfilled if he discovers what Nina did. Drew may utter 6 spiteful words as he assures Nina of what's to come. You're going to prison. Will Nina be arrested and potentially imprisoned for this? Will Nina evade punishment despite Drew's eagerness to see her imprisoned? Regardless, Drew has done certain things for which he must be held accountable, so we'll keep you updated on the terrible news that is coming his way. According to General Hospital teasers, Nina and Drew may face some unpleasant surprises as the tale progresses. Willow is served divorce and custody papers. Plus, Lucky discovers Rick's lies about the accident. Wednesday, May 14, 2025. On General Hospital, Alexis assigns a job to Spinelli, Drew employs Rick, and Diane delivers bad news to Carly and Jason. Stella stops by as Kai is working on his physical therapy. He requests that she do him a favor and release him today. She says she can't if the doctor doesn't approve it, but Kai insists he's been working extremely hard. She wonders why he wants out so badly. He tells that he wants to be there to support Trina during her performance at the nurses' ball. Stella returns later bringing awful news. Kai's doctor will not discharge him due to the sort of operation he underwent. If not today, is there still time to be discharged before the nurses' ball? She informs him that anything is possible. Trina questions Joss at the nurses' ball rehearsal space about where she's been and why she's been so busy. Joss informs her that she now works as Dalton's assistant. Trina is overjoyed, but she quickly discovers it's the position Emma wanted. Joss claims she applied on a whim and assumed Emma would get the job. Joss notices Emma is dissatisfied with her. Trina is pleased for her and believes Emma will come around, and it's not as if she stole the job. Joss wants to plan a party after the ball, but Trina says she'll split as soon as it's finished. She has to be there for Kai since they both understand what it's like to have their lives taken away. Nina stops by Drew and Willow's house and hopes it's okay. Willow says it will rely on her ability to accept both herself and Drew. Nina tells Willow that she trusts her judgment, so if Drew believes her, she should too. Willow expresses gratitude to her mother for her unwavering support. Later, a man comes along and hands Willow paperwork. She opens them and discovers that Michael is proceeding with the divorce and requesting full custody of the children. At the Metro Court, Ezra screams at Drew about Laura before asking what Drew did with Jacinda. He's never known her to up and leave town, and he believes Drew bought her off. Drew didn't and he still thinks he was drugged. He asks Ezra why he is so buddy-buddy with Jacinda. Has she been hanging out with somebody new recently? Ezra claims Willow's mother, Nina, approached them the other day. Laura is nearby, eating breakfast with Lucky and Lulu. Lulu asks Lucky if he and Liz are back together. Lucky thinks everything is fantastic, and he enjoys being with her and caring for her. Laura appreciates that Liz has him to look after her, and is overjoyed that both of her children are doing well in their lives and careers. She asks Lulu how her article is doing. Lulu adds that she had put it on hold due to Rocco's alcohol poisoning. Lucky leaves to return to Liz, and Laura questions Lulu about why she put off her piece. Lulu confesses that penning the poem may have hurt some of her loved ones. As they discuss it, Ezra slithers over and gets into a fight with Laura, who urges him to go. He wonders if she'll turn Sunny on him. Lulu informs Ezra that he can't talk to her mother like that, and she might have found her next piece. According to Ezra, a hit piece written by Laura's daughter will signify nothing. Ezra makes snarky remarks about Rocco's drinking, which will offend Laura's constituents, and proposes she withdraw out of the campaign right away. Laura splashes water in his face as he continues to beat Rocco, while Lulu laughs. Rick drops by Liz's house to check on her. Liz sees his new Porsche on the street, and can't believe he acquired a new sports car after their accident. Liz recalls the collision and Rick remarking that the brakes were not working. Rick argues that the black ice prevented him from stopping and slowing down, and that the best thing to do is put this terrible disaster behind them. The insurance company took the car, and everything is in the past. Later, Lucky returns home to Liz. She tells him Rick stopped by earlier, and she recalls telling Rick to slow down before the crash, which he remembered hitting black ice. Lucky inquires whether she or Rick remembers anything else. She claims Rick told her that the automobile was gone, the insurance company had taken it, and they should move on. Lucky takes note of Rick's remark that the insurance company stole his old car. Drew hires Rick. Drew returns home, goes over the paperwork Willow sent, and wonders what's up with Michael. Willow has no idea what to do now that Martin is out of town. Drew says they need a lawyer and he knows who to contact. Rick arrives at Drew and Willow's and learns about the case. Drew believes Michael's future plans are heavily influenced by Carly. Rick is willing to aid them and feels they can win. He will call Martin for his notes, and Willow and Nina suggest that Martin is looking for dirt on Michael. Rick will handle it, but they will need to request a postponement. Drew claims they don't need that because he knows how to win the case. Drew claims Michael elected to leave the nation for treatment, and he has not contacted his children through his mother, therefore Michael has been MIA. He claims they have to portray Michael as an absentee father who has abandoned his children. Dante and Christina meet in Lulu's new residence. Christina takes no time in telling Dante that her mother almost wanted to commit her, because of all she's gone through over the last year. She acknowledges she had a difficult year, and it would have been different if he, Michael, or Molly had approached her about doing something to help her get better. However, her mother caught her off guard, and she is unsure whether she can forgive or trust her again. Dante and Christina both know Alexis loves her. Dante reveals that he and Sunny were in a similar predicament for a long time, but they got through it and she did too. Christina sees one positive outcome from this. Molly had her back, and they are closer than ever. Dante claims to have him as well, but she can't shake the feeling that something else is bugging her. Christina reveals Rick's accident has been on her mind, and she's relieved no one was wounded. The passenger side of the vehicle was entirely totaled. Dante learned about it from a cop on the scene and questioned how she knew what Rick's automobile looked like. Spinelli arrives in Alexis' office. The lawyer has a job for him, and she requires his confidentiality. Alexis says that what she needs him to do may save Christina's life. She needs him to find Rick's totaled automobile, as no one knows where it is. Spinelli inquires as to what she wishes to do with Rick's car, if it has been considered an accident. Alexis prefers not to say. Spinelli begins looking for the car, and reports that the lot claims it was destroyed. Alexis feels the property was paid off to lie, so she needs him to check to see whether any tow trucks took it up. He ultimately finds the burning gun, and Ava hires a tow truck to retrieve it. Carly and Jason are catching up at Carly's house when Diane swings by to talk about a mess that Carly has caused. Diane sits down and reminds Carly that she has requested her to petition the court for a divorce date. Carly tells Jason that Michael hasn't been notified because she wants him to focus on mending and growing stronger. Diane says he has 2 weeks to heal before his court date on June 2nd. Carly did not expect it to happen so soon. Jason claims that Michael made this decision, not her. Carly was only concerned with Michael's best interests, and she needed to get those kids out of Drew's house. She asks Diane how they can resolve this. Diane can petition for a postponement stating Michael suffered a medical setback, but Drew and Willow will use it against them in Michael's case, arguing he is unfit to care for the children. Jason believes this has opened the path for Willow to gain full custody of the children. Carly insists they must keep the court date. Diane will contact Michael to see what he wants to do. Carly tells her no, and promises to fight for Wiley and Amelia on Michael's behalf. Jason asks, how? Diane claims they can use Drew's recent bad press to prove that Michael's children are in danger living in that place. Carly says they need to get those youngsters out of the house. Diane notes that while the evidence may strip Willow of custody, it does not guarantee that Carly will gain custody, and the children could be put with Nina. Carly is willing to take a chance. Brooke Lynn cries to Chase at the next General Hospital, saying she'd give anything to meet her son. Gio holds a flower and informs Donna that he would be honored. Dante yells at Rocco, telling him that Gio made a mistake and it is his fault. Cody tells Lulu, sorry, that's not happening. Lucky questions Alexis about Rick's deception. Rick asks someone where they are going in such a hurry. Sunny says to someone, I want to be the first person you call. Drew and Nina's feud has erupted, and now that Drew is in prison, he is making a terrible vow that might change everything. In a fit of rage, Drew utters 4 vindictive words that send shockwaves across Port Charles. What might he have said? Is this the start of an unstoppable revenge plot? Or will Nina figure out how to defend herself before it's too late? Fans are on the edge of their seats, anxious to watch how this dramatic storyline plays out. The world of Port Charles has always been fraught with intrigue, betrayal, and vengeance, but few scenes have been as terrifying as Drew's prison promise to Nina. Drew's 4 furious words linger in the air like a bad portent, indicating the start of a perilous new chapter in an already troubled relationship. The stakes have never been higher, and as the tension rises, viewers wonder how far Drew is willing to go to hold Nina accountable for what she has done. The enmity between them has been growing for months, fueled by secrets, lies, and betrayals that have left both characters devastated and yearning for vengeance. Drew's threat now bears an uncanny weight, since he is imprisoned but far from defeated, because in Port Charles, jail bars do not always prevent retribution. Nina, on the other hand, never backs down from a fight. Her tenacity and cunning have kept her afloat in the cutthroat world of business and personal rivalries, but Drew's threat is unique. His statements have a chilly finality to them, as if he is already preparing his next move from behind bars. The question isn't what he said, but what he's capable of. Drew has always been a man of action, and his time in prison may have fueled his wrath, giving him the clarity and determination to attack when Nina least expects it. The 4 words he said were more than simply a warning. They were a declaration of war, and Nina knows not to underestimate him. Drew and Nina's history is riddled with lies and heartache. From corporate takeovers to personal betrayals, their conflict has been everything from straightforward. Drew's arrest is simply the latest twist in a narrative in which both characters have gained and lost power in surprising ways. But now that his freedom has been taken away, Drew's concentration has shifted to one thing: seeing Nina suffer. His threat is not simply physical harm. It is also psychological, a planned ploy to engender dread and anxiety. He wants her to glance over her shoulder, distrust every ally, and wonder when and how he will make his move. Because in Port Charles, vengeance isn't always immediate. It might be a prolonged burn, methodically prepared to guarantee maximum destruction. Nina finds the danger frightening not only because of what Drew might do, but also because of what it represents. His words serve as a reminder that no one in Port Charles is completely safe, that previous deeds have consequences, and that even the most powerful can fall. Drew's commitment cuts through everything she's spent years doing to develop her empire, forge connections, and outmaneuver her rivals. It is personal, raw, and free of the game she is accustomed to playing. This is not about money or power. It is about misery. And this makes it immensely more dangerous. Drew's remarks have weight over time. Nina tries to stay calm by focusing on her work and surrounds herself with close confidants. But the anxiety is evident. Every phone call, unexpected guest, and weird occurrence sends a thrill of terror through her. Is this it? Is this the moment Drew delivers on his promise? Drew understands that ambiguity is a form of agony in itself. He may be in prison, but his power pervades every dark nook of Nina's life. Drew is far from idle behind prison walls, however. Incarceration sharpens a person's focus, and Drew is making good use of his time. He is gathering information, making connections, and setting the basis for what will happen next. His forward threat was not hollow. It was the first move of a much larger game. The General Hospital recap for Tuesday, May 13th, shows that Jason Morgan sealed Sonny Corinthos' fate with a rejected bargain, while Emma Scorpio Drake was furious about Jocelyn Jack's sabotage. At GH, Portia Robinson surprised Trina Robinson by disclosing that she persuaded Curtis Ashford to retract his editorial against Drew Kane. Portia recommended that Drew should simply do his own thing and stay out of it. Curtis told Jordan Ashford at the Brown Dog Bar that Portia had abruptly changed her mind about Drew. Curtis was concerned about Drew's leverage over Portia. Jordan knew what it was like to be in over her head with a secret, so she begged Curtis to speak with her and hear her out. Laura Collins was upset when Sonny mentioned selling his peers to Jen Sidwell. Laura finally recognized that this could be Sonny's mob departure strategy, and she couldn't stop him if he thought it was best for his family. At Lulu Spencer's house, she explained to Carly Spencer all of the signs that pointed to Giovanni Gio Palmieri as Brooke Lynn Quartermain and Dante Falconeri's son. Lois Cerullo's protective scream in the hospital last night left Lulu particularly convinced. When Lois asserted that Dante had no idea who Gio was, Lulu assumed it was a mistake. If Lulu's theory was correct, she felt compelled to inform Dante that he had previously interacted with his own son. Carly was concerned about blowing up Joe's life, as well as so many others, and warned Lulu that she needed proof. Lulu had an idea where she could get the final piece of evidence she needed. Meanwhile, Lucy Coe prepared for a nurse's ball performance alongside Maxie Jones, Felicia Scorpio, and Anna Devane. Jen Sidwell arrived and told Lucy about his ulterior motivation for sponsoring the nurse's ball. He wanted to generate some goodwill in Port Charles. Lucy was certain she saw Sidwell's softer side, which worried Maxie as she observed them nearby. Emma was furious at Professor Henry Hank Dalton's office when Jocelyn took the research assistant position, especially after she discovered how much she wanted it. Emma suspected Jasper Jacks was throwing money around to arrange this, but Jocelyn denied it. Jocelyn told Emma that she would report any illegal lab operations, but Emma wondered why she would believe her and stormed out, calling Jocelyn a bitch. Emma then met up with Anna and told her how Jocelyn discovered her thumb drive at the campfire. Emma was convinced that Jocelyn sabotaged her, therefore she wanted to speak with Professor Dalton immediately away. Anna stopped Emma since she couldn't make such an accusation without evidence. There would be other summer jobs, so Anna urged Emma to let this one go. Returning to Jocelyn, she closed Professor Dalton's office. Jocelyn then scanned the room with some WSB gear, and put on gloves before looking through Professor Dalton's findings. Vaughn comes dressed as a maintenance worker, startling Jocelyn before assisting her in digging. Jocelyn and Vaughn found nothing damning, but they knew the real information they were seeking for was in Professor Dalton's laboratory. Tracy Quartermain sent Jason with updates on Brooke Lynn's adolescent pregnancy and adoption at MetroCourt, but Jason refused to assist in the search for Tracy's great-grandson. Tracy offered to cease opposing Sonny in the vote, and instead back his decision to maintain the peers, but Jason remained uninterested. If Brooke Lynn needed help, she could go to Jason herself. Tracy decided that Jason had sealed Sonny's destiny and vowed that she intended to drive him out of Port Charles for good. When Jason arrived at Sonny's house, he revealed that Tracy had attempted to make a deal with him that he had rejected. Sonny didn't know all the circumstances, but he didn't believe they should be making deals with Tracy. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sonny will face some hurdles in the near future, so keep an eye out for any bad news. General Hospital teasers lead to the following question. Will Lois Cerullo leave after the Giovanni Gio Palmieri reveal? Brooke Lynn Quartermain may tell her mother to leave Port Charles once the truth is revealed, so ponder what the future holds. Lois had already taken a sabbatical in Bensonhurst owing to her quarrel with Brooke Lynn, but they were able to resolve it once Lois returned. A fact, this is only because Brooke Lynn does not know the whole tale. Brooke Lynn was upset when she discovered Lois had revealed her pregnancy and adoption secret to Gloria Cerullo, but she eventually recognized that her mother needed a confidant. Brooke Lynn, on the other hand, will undoubtedly be upset when she discovers that Lois and Gloria have been concealing Joe's true origin all along. Once the truth is revealed, Brooke Lynn will never want to live with Lois. Brooke Lynn may force Lois to leave the Quartermain property, which Tracy Quartermain will fully support because she will be equally upset. Brooklyn would even go so far as to say that Lois no longer belongs in Port Charles. Perhaps Brooklyn will require a significant gap between them, forcing Lois to return to Bensonhurst. Other characters like Sonny Corinthos, Dante Falconeri, and Gio himself will be furious with Lois as well. Lois may become a town outcast and fall into a pit of despair as a consequence. Will the imminent Gio discovery force Lois out of Port Charles, at least temporarily? It's easy to see Lois packing up and leaving, but Gio may also advocate for family togetherness once everyone has calmed down. It would be great if Gio could bring Lois and Brooklyn back together in the end. Gio has a good heart and will eventually forgive Lois for her dishonesty. That might lead to Gio urging Brooklyn to do the same. Thus Lois' exit could be temporary and part of the greater tale. Whatever the case, General Hospital spoilers indicate that a major Gio surprise is about to be revealed. So Lois will have some explaining to do once Brooklyn, Dante, and others in PC receive information. The tension in Port Charles had reached a boiling point, a slow-burning fuse that threatened to ignite an all-out war. Jason Morgan, the ever-loyal enforcer, stood at the center of the storm, his icy blue eyes reflecting the weight of the decision he had just made. Across from him, Sonny Corinthos, the man who had once been his closest ally, his brother in all but blood, stared back with a mixture of disbelief and simmering rage. The deal Jason had offered, one last chance to avoid bloodshed, had been rejected outright. And with that refusal, the dagger of betrayal had been plunged deep, sealing Sonny's fate in ways neither of them could yet fully comprehend. 4 years, their partnership had been the backbone of the Corinthos organization. Jason's strategic mind and lethal precision had balanced Sonny's fiery temperament and unpredictable nature. Together they had built an empire, weathered countless enemies, and survived betrayals that would have shattered lesser men. But the cracks had been forming for months, tiny fractures in their foundation that had gone unnoticed until it was too late. It started with the whispers, rumors of Sonny's instability, his increasing paranoia, his willingness to strike first and ask questions later. Jason had tried to ignore them at first, dismissing them as the usual undercurrent of distrust in their world. Tracy warns Jason at Metrocourt that he cannot tell anyone, including Sonny, about what she is going to tell him. She informs him that Brooklyn had a newborn boy as a teenager, and had given him up for adoption. Tracy wants him to find the boy. She reveals that when everything went down, Brooklyn went to her mother for aid, and Lois and Gloria arranged for the boy's closed adoption. Jason asks Brooklyn if she wants her son discovered, and if so, he should be having this talk with her. Tracy acknowledges Brooklyn isn't aware she's doing this, but she must know who her great-grandson is. Tracy is concerned that the youngster may be in trouble, and should have been reared as a quartermain. Jason claims it's none of his business and he won't get involved. Tracy anticipated objections, so in exchange for his assistance, she will withdraw her support for the Measure C vote and push for Sonny to maintain his land. Tracy claims the boy matters this much to her. Jason feels for her, but he can't help her without Brooklyn's approval. Tracy trusts him to keep this to himself and will track down the boy through other ways. She also informs Jason that he has sealed Sonny's destiny, and she will not stop until he is gone of Port Charles for good. The show's final moments. Tracy enters the rehearsal facility and runs into Jins, who is leaving. She assures him that she is entirely devoted to resolving their common problem. She walks in and Maxie informs her she's late and that they need to practice their dance. Tracy proclaims that she is singing rather than dancing, and they all begin to dance around her. Back at Sonny's, he tells her that Laura's friendship and support mean the world to him. She feels the same way about him. Laura goes out and Jason arrives. Sonny explains that he informed Laura about Sidwell's offer. He claims Laura did not like it but understood and accepted it. Jason tells Sonny how Tracy offered to withdraw her support for Measure C, but he declined because she wanted a favor in exchange. Sonny claims they don't need to make bargains with Tracy, and Laura convinces him that it's fair to prioritize his family's needs. Liz confronts Rick at the next General Hospital, recalling that he mentioned something about the breaks. Alexis asks Benelli to help her save Christina. Christina tells Dante that she doesn't sure if she can forgive her mother. Drew adds, "I know exactly who to call." Carly sobs to Jason, "I need to get those kids out of that house." Willow is served papers and becomes panicked. General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, May 14th state that Carly Spencer will initiate legal action to remove the children from Willow Corinthos. Elizabeth Baldwin will also question Rick Lansing about the brakes on his crashed vehicle. So this is what GH viewers may expect. For starters, it appears Liz will recall Rick saying something about the brakes prior to the accident. Rick will be grilled, putting him in a difficult situation as he tries to hide the truth. Of course, Rick is a part of Ava Jerome's blackmail operation. Therefore they must keep Christina Corinthos Davis' activities hidden. It's the only way Ava and Rick can continue to receive Cassadine payments. Alexis Davis will recruit Damian Spinelli for a mission that could save Christina's life. It appears like Alexis will want Spinelli to remove any evidence against Christina. Therefore Spinelli may be charged with erasing the surveillance tape and locating the sabotaged automobile as well. Christina was aiming for Ava that night, but she ended up driving Rick's car off the road. Christina was clearly unstable, therefore she should give Alexis a break when it comes to those papers to have her committed. Christina, on the other hand, is unaware that Alexis is aware of the entire situation, thus she will continue to harbor resentment. That's why Christina will tell Dante Falconeri that she's not sure she'll ever be able to forgive and trust Alexis again. Although Christina extended an olive branch to Alexis, she will undoubtedly continue to struggle to overcome her mother's actions. Drew Kane will then learn something significant, which may have implications for his efforts to unravel the drugging case. Drew is already aware that Portia Robinson played a role in his wild night, but based on what he discovers, may he also suspect Nina Reeves? However, Drew may face the same setback as Willow, as she is about to get some tragic news. After receiving reports from Jason Morgan, Carly will be determined to get the kids out of Willow and Drew's house as quickly as possible. Jason will reveal what he learnt from Sasha Gilmore Corbin regarding Willow's claim that Michael declined to see her in Germany. Will Jason contact Michael to confirm? Or will he simply believe it's true for the sake of created soap? Carly may believe that if Michael has such contempt for Willow, they should move quickly to seize custody. However, Jason may discover that Drew wrecked things and express concerns about the children living with a master manipulator instead. Regardless, Carly and Jason will hold a strategy session, which will result in Willow being served with legal documents. Willow's biggest nightmare will come true when she discovers Carly is scheming to remove Wiley and Amelia Corinthos from her home with Drew as soon as possible. Drew will apparently soothe Willow, telling her that he knows exactly who to call. Despite Drew's efforts to resolve the situation, Willow will remain apprehensive about the potential of losing Wiley and Amelia. Finally, General Hospital spoilers indicate that Laura Collins will have a meltdown, so it's likely that Ezra Boyle will press her buttons, causing a dramatic outburst. Carly's decision to file legal action against Willow, which resulted in the children being removed from Willow's care, represents a critical and emotionally charged turning point in their continuous battle. This decision has far-reaching consequences not only for those directly engaged, but also for the larger community that has witnessed their stormy relationship. The legal system, which was once viewed as a last resort in familial disputes, has now become a battleground where custody, parental rights, and the well-being of children are hotly contested. Carly's decision to seek legal intervention reveals a significant distrust in Willow's capacity to create a safe and stable environment for the children. Carly's efforts, whether prompted by genuine care for their well-being or personal grudges, have irreparably altered their relationship dynamics. Legal actions of this sort are rarely simple. They require significant documentation, testimony, and examinations by social services or child welfare agencies to determine the children's best interests. The court's decision to remove the children from Willow's custody suggests that there was enough evidence provided to support such a harsh measure, at least temporarily. Willow's sudden loss of custody is most certainly upsetting. The emotional toll of being separated from children, along with the public attention that frequently surrounds such situations, can be overpowering. Willow may feel attacked, betrayed, or unfairly criticized, particularly if she believes she has provided competent and caring care.